Yo, 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 what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I got you guys the Week 10 quarterback rankings. Now, before I get into all the rankings from 1 through 20 for quarterback this week, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite website to play daily fantasy on. And it is very, very, very simple. Even I can get and play well on this website. Now, it is very, very simple. Like I said, it's a start sit format. All you got to do is make 12 picks plus 3 alternate picks, and it is super simple. Pretty much right here, you can see one of the examples here would be Lamar Jackson versus Aaron Rodgers. Personally, Lamar Jackson against the Cincinnati Bengals, I think that is a very easy matchup. So to me, I think he will outscore Aaron Rodgers against the Carolina Panthers. It is that easy. All you got to do is do that 11 more times plus the 3 alternate picks, and you can go and try to win that money. Now, if you go that perfect 12 and 0 in the $109 game, you could win $28,000. I know that's like a lot of money, but even in the $2 game, you could win roughly $3,500 if you have that beautiful 12 and 0. Now, if you're in the top 10% of the entries in that contest, you win 9 times your buy-in, which is huge. But before I end this roll, I'd like to actually tell you guys a new strategy that I have discovered that I personally have used the last couple of weeks and have found some success in. So, say I like Jameis Winston a lot this week to beat Drew Brees. So, I'd pick Jameis Winston against the Arizona Cardinals, and then I'm going to stack him with his wide receiver, Mr. Mike Evans, to beat Tyreek Hill. Because if I personally believe that Jameis Winston is going to have a good game, I also believe Mike Evans will, and then you get 2 correct pretty much for the price of 1. At least to me, that makes a lot of sense. It is something that I like to implore every week on OverlayDFS.com. So, make sure to check them out. Link down below in the description, OverlayDFS.com. And we are back. Make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Let's get right into this Week 10 quarterback rankings. At number 1, we have Drew Brees going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Drew Brees, this is the softest matchup I have ever seen. The most cupcake matchup of the week, mainly because I see this could potentially be a potential higher scoring type of game. Drew Brees' matchup, the Falcons are fucking terrible. Drew Brees is going to ram more than just his fist straight up the Atlanta Falcons defense. I think that is going to provide a number 1 ranking for my quarterback position this week. I really like Drew Brees against this Atlanta defense that is banged up, and even if they were fully healthy, still completely fucking terrible. So I love Drew Brees this week. At number 2, we have Mr. Lamar Jackson going against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I know Lamar has a very simple matchup as well, but the difference here is I don't believe the Cincinnati Bengals will be scoring very many points. I don't think this has potential to be a back-and-forth matchup like Drew Brees versus Matt Ryan could potentially have. So, with that said, I think Lamar Jackson is just going to go out there and skull fuck the Cincinnati Bengals, have it over by the 3rd quarter, and then they just run the ball until the game comes to a close. So still, Lamar Jackson going to be great, but that's why he is not the number 1 ranked quarterback for me in Week 10. Now, number 3, we have Mr. Patrick Mahomes going up against the Tennessee Titans. Now, I know if you're looking at this coming draft season, if you were in the draft season, you're like, Nick, you fucking idiot. Why is Pat Mahomes not ranked the number 1 quarterback on the week? And you're thinking that Pat Mahomes is just going to be amazing every single week. And he's ranked number 3. He's going to be great this week against the Tennessee Titans. He makes his triumphant return this week against the Tennessee Titans. And I think that this is a big spot for Pat Mahomes. Do I believe he should return? No. I think Andy Reid should let him sit down and have Matt Moore go out there and beat the Tennessee Titans. But Andy Reid, the Kool-Aid man, says Pat Mahomes is good to go. And Pat Mahomes will play, so you're going to have to play him. You're going to have to rank him in your top 5. Whenever Pat Mahomes steps on the field, regardless of the defense, regardless of who he's playing against, regardless of the coaching, regardless of anything, you put Pat Mahomes out there, and he is ranked number 3 for me this week. At number 4, we have Mr. Aaron Rodgers going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, I know last week he got his ass sunned by Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers made him look like a bitch, and Aaron Rodgers didn't do anything. But this week, when Aaron Rodgers gets knocked down, I think he's going to shoot right back up and become even stronger. We saw before last week against the Chargers, he was looking like a potential MVP candidate, or looking like the Aaron Rodgers from years we've seen prior. And he was playing great. And I think that just one bad game doesn't mean you could take Aaron Rodgers, ball him up, and throw him out into the fucking trash can. I think that you keep him and roll him out this week in a juicy matchup against the Carolina Panthers. And number 5, we have Mr. Famous Jameis, the W Eater, going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I know Famous Jameis is not the guy that you would love to throw into your lineup, but I certainly am going to throw him into my lineup this week against the soft-ass Arizona Cardinals. Jameis Winston could throw a pick or two in this game, and I wouldn't give a fuck because I really think that he's going to throw 3 touchdowns in this game, a shit ton of yards. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, the easiest guys to throw the ball to. Jameis Winston still figures out how to fuck that up multiple times every single game, but even with that said, I love Famous Jameis, the W Eater, this week against a soft-ass Arizona Cardinals defense. And number 6, we have Dickie Dak Prescott going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, last week, he played against the Giants in a game that was cursed by a black cat. But you want to know who that cat cursed? He cursed the New York Football Giants. You all know who's not cursed? The Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's World this week in Dallas against the Minnesota Vikings. Everyone knows what's going to happen. This is a prime time game. You know what prime time game means? Kirk Cousins is going to shit the bed. And you want to know who's not going to shit the bed? Dickie Dak Prescott. He's going to go out there and ball out. He played pretty good against the Giants. I think he's pretty safe pick this week against the Vikings, even up against a pretty good defense. He can run, he can throw, he can do it all. And if Amari Cooper is 100% healthy, that would obviously help me in loving Dak Prescott in week 10. And number 7, we have Matty Snapback, Matthew Stafford going against the Chicago Bears. Matt Stafford has been the most unexpected top 12 quarterback on this year, at least to me, by far. He was probably a guy that I was not even really targeting in draft season. He shit the bed last year all season. I was very off of him, even though I knew the talent of Matthew Stafford, and he came back and he clapped back straight onto me, and he's been playing amazing. I love Matt Stafford this week against the Chicago Bears, even up against a tough defense. A defense that has honestly not been playing that great this year in comparison to last year. I love Matt Stafford this week. He has weapons. Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, and you know they are playing this game. If they're playing the game in Detroit, there may be some other weapons there, but they're in Chicago. Could be weapons there as well. I like Matthew Stafford this week against the Chicago Bears. Like I said, he has the weapons. The coaching is pretty good, and Matt Stafford has been slinging the rock. They have not been depending on the run game. When Kerryon Johnson was healthy, they were more likely to run the ball. Now, they got J.D. McKissick, Ty Johnson. Then they said, fuck the run game. We ain't running. We're going to just let Matt Stafford sling the rock like his name was Brett Favre. Obviously, not as good as Brett Favre, but you get what I mean. He's slinging the rock. So I like Matt Stafford this week against the Chicago Bears. And number 8, we have Mr. Kyler Murray, the Heisman himself, going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Kyler Murray has not had the greatest of seasons, but we saw last week against a tough 49ers defense. He went out there and laid his dick on the table and played a great game this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This should be a matchup where Kyler Murray flourishes. Now, the thing is, why is he not ranked higher? Because he's 5'6", and he has not proved himself to be all that reliable this season. But with that said, I would love to throw him out there this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A top defense against the run, but not against the pass. I like Kyler Murray this week. At number 9, we have Josh Allen going up against the Cleveland Browns. Now, everyone knows here, anyone who's new, obviously make sure to click that subscribe button. But if you've been here for a while, you know how I feel about Josh Allen. You know that Josh Allen is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. And you know that Josh Allen's always going to be a top 12 guy for this week. But why is he ranked number 9, Nick? Why do you like Josh Allen this week? And it is plain and simple. The Cleveland Browns are terrible. The Cleveland Browns have not been playing good. I think this is a game where the Cleveland Browns actually go out there and play quite well, which is going to bode even better for Josh Allen, where Josh Allen is going to be in a higher scoring matchup where he's going to have to go tit for tat against Baker Mayfield. I think Josh Allen flourishes in this matchup with his legs and plays great against the Cleveland Browns. It's so hard to not rank someone in their top 12 who just doesn't give a fuck. He just slings the rock down the field, and that's what you want for your fantasy football quarterback, especially a guy as mobile as Josh Allen. At number 10, we have Jared Goff going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Jared Goff has honestly not been all that good this season in fantasy football or in real life. He loses one of his primary weapons in Brandon Cooks a few weeks ago, and in this game after the bye, I think he goes out there and eviscerates the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's not ranked higher because I don't have too much trust in him. Like I said, this may be a game where Todd Gurley just rushes 2 touchdowns and Jared Goff shits the bed for the team, and it doesn't play all that well. But against this Pittsburgh Steelers team, I think Jared Goff does good enough to warrant him being a top 12 quarterback, but he's obviously not one of those elite options on the week. At number 11, we have Mr. Matthew Ice, Matt Ryan, going up against the New Orleans Saints. Like I said with Drew Brees, I think this has potential to be a higher scoring type of matchup, but Matt Ryan coming back off that injury, exited a game a few weeks ago. Now he is bike after the bye, and I have him ranked at 11 because I'm not entirely confident in him. I think this could be a higher scoring matchup, but how confident am I in Matt Ryan? Not really at all. The only player I'm really confident on in this team is Austin Hooper and Julio Jones. Besides that, Matt Ryan, I am very nervous about starting him this week. Obviously, he's coming off that injury. If he was completely healthy, this would be a game I would love Matt Ryan in, but due to that injury, I don't necessarily love him this week. At number 12, we have Mr. Dangerous, Wilson, going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I know this is going to be a tougher matchup for what a lot of people are calling the MVP of the NFL right now. The San Francisco 49ers are going to be a tough defense to face, but we saw last week Mr. Kyler Murray go out there and do it. And you want to know some similarities here. Russell Wilson, short. Kyler Murray, short. You've got it right there. That's the key to beating the San Francisco 49ers defense, being short. Obviously, all jokes aside, I think Russell Wilson is going to go out there and perform just good enough to be a top 12 guy, but obviously, you got to temper your expectations because the San Francisco defense is legit, and they are at home. The San Francisco team is at home. They're in San Fran, so that obviously won't bode the best for Mr. Russell Wilson. Now on to 13 through 20. At number 13, we have Mr. Jimmy G Spot, Jimmy Guap, Jimmy touchdowns, because last week on Thursday night, he went out there and balled against the Arizona Cardinals. This week against the Seahawks, a tougher defense. I think he has some regression, but I'm still throwing him out there this week and trying to put some trust into him against the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to try to trust the process and hope that they're have a better intent of passing the ball, not about that run that they were working on earlier in the season. So let's hope that they're more of a pass-heavy attack this week against the Seattle Seahawks. And if that is true, Jimmy G will be in for a pretty good game, a game that could end up being high-scoring even with the 49ers defense being so good. At number 14, we have Mr. You like that? Kirk Cousins going against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, while I think Kirk Cousins shits the bed in this game, I think he does not perform all that great. Who is anyone right here that you can rank ahead of him? No one. Fucking all the guys behind him are really not that good, but Kirk Cousins is good. And if he wants to take this Vikings team to the playoffs, he's going to have to go out there on a primetime game where he normally shits the bed and play great against the Dallas Cowboys, against a defense that shouldn't be too tough unless your name is Daniel Jones. They should be pretty good this week. Kirk Cousins obviously has the ability to dump the ball off to Dalvin Cook and get some bullshit yards and some bullshit touchdowns that way. And I think Kirk Cousins plays just well enough to be a top 14 guy, but I think inevitably the Dallas Cowboys eat a W in Dallas. At number 15, we have Mr. DJ, Daniel Jones, the quarterback I just spoke about, going up against the New York Football Jets in New York, actually in New Jersey at the Meadowlands. Now, last week, Daniel Jones may have been seeing ghosts. He was playing terrible. He fumbled the ball. His fumble literally changed teams' outcomes, completely games' outcomes. He fumbled the ball. The Cowboys defense returns it for a touchdown. And then teams with the Dallas Cowboys defense came out there and somehow won on some last-second bullshit, but that doesn't matter because Daniel Jones against the Jets should be able to dominate. Realistically, this is a matchup where he goes out there and proves who the king of New York is, and it certainly isn't Mr. Kid See Ghost, Safe Space, Sam Darnold, the Mono Boy. I like Daniel Jones this week against the Jets. Now, I am not confident in this pick. I think the Jets suck, but I think at the end of the day, the Jets are going to have to win these games, or Adam Gase is going to get his ass canned. So let's hope that Daniel Jones is able to perform in a higher scoring type of matchup this week. At number 16, we have Mr. Ryan Tannehill going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And since Mariota's been benched, Ryan Tannehill has actually been playing quite well, and I'm not going to hate on him. I'm a Dolphins fan. He was shit in the past, played good at times, but this week against the Kansas City Chiefs, he has a good matchup, so I would feel a bit confident in him being above these other guys, but I don't necessarily love him, and I don't want to roll out a guy who I know may just hand the ball off to Derrick Henry 1,000 times. At number 17, we have Kyle Allen going up against the Green Bay Packers now. They were on bye last week. I think that Kyle Allen is a serviceable quarterback. Obviously, Cam on the IR. So Kyle Allen will be playing the rest of the season. So against Green Bay, you could do a lot worse than Kyle Allen, but I don't necessarily love him against a tougher type of pass defense. At number 18, we have Mono Boy Sam going up against the New York Giants. And like I said, this is a matchup that should be cupcake for Sam Darnold. He should be able to go out there and eviscerate the Giants. But we've seen this Jets team look putrid. I could take a picture of dog shit and it might look better than this Jets offense. All right, they are so bad. The defense is bad. And I think Sam Darnold goes out there and performs, but I wouldn't be confident enough in it to rank him higher than 18. At number 19, we have Mr. Jacoby B, Jacoby Money Bags, Jacoby Brissett going up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, this is a super cupcake matchup for him. Will he play is the big question. He's ranked low because I'm not sure he's going to play. And if he plays, I'm not sure how healthy he is going to be. Obviously, having your leg fucked up isn't the best for your game. But with that said, if he plays, I would rank him up as a top 20 quarterback. And the quarterback pickings are shit this week because 6 teams are on bye. And at number 20, the final quarterback of my rankings is Ryan Fitzpatrick against this Indianapolis Colts defense. Now, the Colts defense is okay, but Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's just magical. He's a magical man like Magic Mike. He's going to be stripping up there, and they're going to be throwing money his way because he's going to play just good enough these next couple of games for NFL teams to throw money his way. That's what always happens. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to play just good enough the next couple of games to get another contract somewhere elsewhere in the NFL being a backup. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to go into Indy. He's going to go over there and he's going to whisper right into the defense's ear and throw some touchdowns and be warranting a top 20 play in fantasy football. I don't love it. It's a risky play. You're always rolling the dice with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Are you going to get Ryan Fitzpatrick or are you going to get Ryan Fitzmagic? This week, I think I'm feeling a bit magical on him, but I'm not entirely sure you can throw your fantasy game on some magic. But thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, chuckling, having just a good time, make sure to knock one time on that fucking subscribe button. Click on it. I love each and every single one of you guys. We are near 3,000 subscribers, and I know we're probably not going to hit it until next week when the start or sit videos come out, because that's where the real subscribers come in. I've just noticed that. That's typically what happens. But thank you guys all for watching. Regardless of if you've subscribed or not, please click that subscribe button. Whether you enjoyed it or not, make sure you remember that I do love you guys. It really does mean a lot. All the support I see down in the comments. I read all the comments. I answer all the comments. I love all of you guys. Thank you guys for everything this season, and we're going to continue to keep building until the season comes to a close. I love each and every single one of you guys. Don't you ever forget it. Goodbye, my friend.